Hey guys, Tim here. Today we're going to do an unboxing of this Gigabyte F2A85XM-D3H. This is one of their ultra durable motherboards. I'm going to put this in my media center build. I think some of you guys saw me do the build with an MSI board. The MSI board actually won't shut down right now. I have to get a replacement for it. So I'm going to use it in a slightly different build. I'm going to use it for a Steam box. I'm going to use this for my media center PC since it's going to be on more. So that's one update. This board does support triple monitor. And you'll see it has three ports on the back. It supports 3D, dual link DVI. The resolution is up to 2560 by 1600. It's the FM2 chip, so it's the A series chips. It has humidity protection with a new glass fiber PCB. And the Ultra Durable 4 Classic is humidity protection, electrostatic protection, power failure protection, and high temperature protection. On the box, one thing I always like about Gigabyte is they love to show you like how their products are better, but the graphs never have indexes on them. So it's like the humidity protection, you know, a traditional PCB is that rating, and you know, the new glass fabric is better. I don't know, I'm sure it is, but graphs without indexes, guys, you know, without an X and a Y, don't mean crap. So, you know, anytime somebody does this and they say it's more, better, you know, this could be like the last, you know, 2% of 100%. You don't know because there's nothing here to tell you, you know, what scale you're looking at or what the values are. So, you know, if you're in school or anything else, don't produce graphs without values. You know, Gigabyte marketing people, hello. So sorry, I just always find that entertaining with the Gigabyte boards. They do have the cool 3D mode for the BIOS. It's more for novices, I'll be honest. They still have the advanced mode. And then, you know, we have the board layout here. And the same numbers as on the front, except for it does have auto green. It is DX11, all solid capacitors, and the on-off charge for one of the ports. So let's go ahead and open her up. I will say I do really like Gigabyte boards. They're one of my favorite kinds of board. Most of my systems either have a Gigabyte board or an Asus board. And I actually have a Gigabyte board in my old HT PC that I've had for almost 5 years. And it's still running fine. I'm just, you know, I'm upgrading to the AMD chipset here just to see, do some performance testing. So you get two SATA Rev 3 cables. So they are, oh sorry, it's 4. You learn how to count. There's 2 per bag. And one is straight to straight and one is straight to 90 degree in both of them. So there's 2 90 degree to straight, 2 straight to straight. You have your backplate shield, and again, this is the same as the MSI board. The complaint I have is, you know, people are going to buy this board probably for media center PCs or something similar. So, you know, put some, it's like 5 cents I bet to put the EM padding on the back of this like the Asus boards come with. You know, it's just a little touch that I'd like to see. However, not the end of the world. We have our manuals. So you have a multilingual installation guidebook, and the user's manual with your driver disk, and I'm sure somewhere in there is a, well, maybe not. So usually you get a case badge. So there's your manual, your driver disk. Use this for the network drivers if it needs it. Get all the rest of them off the website. There's always going to be newer drivers unless your board is, you know, day 1 of shipping, and then there's probably still new drivers even then. So before we go through the board real quick, I just wanted to say one thing we're going to do with this is I'm going to be doing a review, an unboxing and review of the HD 6570. So this, you know, it's an older generation card. This is the OC version. It's got 1 gigabyte. And it is actually one of the compatible cards with the A6, or sorry, A4, A6, that I'm going to put in the in this motherboard. So I'm going to do some testing with the Media Center PC to see what kind of frame rates I can get with Steam Big Screen. And I'll let you guys know those results. But, you know, this whole build, if you just take the, you know, the motherboard, the processor, the graphics card I got for $40 on Amazon, you know, the whole build is going to be, you know, even with an expensive case, it's going to be under $400 probably. So, or right around $400. So, you know, like Logan does did a kill your console video. I really think this is probably going to be, you know, a good basis for a new Steam box. Really the ultra durable, you know, and something that's going to be on all the time. You know, especially if you want to use this as a Media Center PC. You can use it as a Media Center PC and a Steam box. You know, I'm sure they're going to release an x86 client, and if they don't, you know, you can run Hyper-V and do a Linux emulator. So, you know, just install Linux on the PC. So, take a look at the board here. So this is an FM2 board. You have your typical standard AMD mounting with the FM2 socket. You have 4 DIMM slots, and this is for dual channel DDR3. So you want to put them in pairs. Your 24, well, we'll start up in the corner here. So you have system fan 1 is a PWM 4-pin, your 24-pin power, USB 3.0 adapter, and now what I think is the highlight of this board with the A85 chipset is you have 8 SATA ports that, according to, you know, some information I've seen, and I don't know until I try this with the board, but all 8 SATA ports can be rated 0, 1, or 5, or 10. So that's, you know, 8 SATA Rev 3 ports. How many boards do you see have that, right? It's this A85 chipset from AMD. You know, it's one of the reasons why I feel like, at least on the motherboard chipset side, I really feel like, other than the Intel NICs, which, you know, they could have put an Intel NIC on here. I believe it's a Realtek. They could have put an Intel NIC on here. But with the A85 chipset, you know, the feature set is amazing. Like the amount of USB ports you get, and you know, just overall functionality of the board is quite amazing. So I forgot to mention right here, so you have dual BIOS on this board, which is a great feature. So if you're trying to overclock and you do something wrong, you can always flip it back to the safety BIOS. One little known thing too is it actually makes flashing your BIOS a little safer. So if you're flashing the main BIOS and the power goes out, the board will boot up to the B BIOS, or should. Down here you have your front panel connectors, 2 USB 2 ports, a TPM socket. So this is for if you want to use this board in an enterprise, or just to encrypt your data, you can get a TPM socket chip to put in here that allows you to hardware encrypt your hard drives. A COM port, front audio, and we're going to go around to the back. You have 2 USB 2, a PS2 combo port, your 3 video outs, so you can use these to 3 monitors. So you have, you know, your regular D-sub, DVI, and HDMI, along with an optical out. You have 2 USB 3.0 ports, Gigabit Ethernet, 2 more USB 2, and I believe it's 5.1 audio. Let me look that up real quick just to make sure. Well, it says HD audio, so it's probably 5.1. With 3 ports, I highly doubt it's 7.1. So, and across the top, well, actually, we're in the middle, right here. So we have a CPU fan, which is a 4-pin PWM, and a system fan, which is a 4-pin PWM connector. We have, now this is the one thing, you know, I want you guys to pay attention to here. This is a board for, frankly, one of the lowest end processors right now that's for a desktop. However, it has an 8-pin power connector to the motherboard, and it has some awesome solid power distribution. No heat sinks, funny enough. So I don't know how it'll do in overclocking. I do plan to try to overclock it a little bit just to see the general performance, because, you know, typically in an overclocks it will try to overclock the APU, so it'll try to overclock the GPU portion of the APU. So you might get a little bit better video and gaming if you overclock. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I would have liked to seen, you know, a couple more, maybe one, maybe two more fan headers. However, all three of them are 4-pin, which is exceptional. Not many motherboards are all 4-pin connectors. So even though there are only two system fans, they are PWM. So that's a brief overview of this board. Like I said, I'll be putting it in my media center PC. I look forward to giving her a try and, you know, seeing just how it performs. Again, you know, keep an eye out for the Gigabyte HD6570 unboxing, and keep an eye out for the Steam big screen review I'll do at some point down the road once I get this set up and done some graphics benchmarks on it. So this is Tim for TimmyTechTV. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.